Good morning. It's Thursday, beautiful Thursday morning. It has been raining all morning actually, which has made it hard for me to figure out the perfect time to film, but there's no perfect time than now, right? And instead of using natural light, I've decided to substitute it for some artificial lights. In today's video, I want to share my notebooks system for 2026. I want to showcase it to you, and at the same time I want to do a review of the systems that I used in 2025. Out of the camera view is a lot of books here that I want to share with you. I will go at it methodically. Sorry, that was a little bit hard, and we will figure it out. First notebook we are looking at today, my main journal. I want to use this journal for stream of consciousness writing. Is not necessarily a planner, much more like a diary. So diary entries, stream of consciousness. In the previous year, that's 2025, I used this notebook. I used this notebook in the previous year, but it was not just for diary writing. I used it for a lot of things, from taking notes and logging the media I consumed, budget tracking, and expenses. Everything was done in this notebook. It was stuff all in one place for everything I had to do. I wrote wish list, I wrote lists, lots of lists in this notebook, and it survived a lot in my hand. And then it's finished. That means I exhausted the notebook by August. I started in February, but by August it was already completed. So I had to get some other notebooks, which led me to making my first CN, my traveler's journal. I came across the Lewis Carmen journals on the internet, and I was like, I love that. Let me try and make it, because I could not afford it. And that was when I got this one. Let me open it. This one has the same function as this one will have this next year. I started writing in this notebook in August 2025, and I've written in it all through till November. November was the last entry. November 30th was the last entry in this notebook. So that was this notebook's purpose. We'll look into the other notebooks at the appropriate time. Moving on to the next notebook, what I'm calling my life admin notebook. I made this TM, but it's not one of my finest work. I don't really like how it looks or the color of the leather itself, but I'm making do for now. Maybe during the year I could remake it, but for now we just have to make do with this. Open it and let's see what's inside. So I've already gone in and did some setup for the journal. So I'll show you what's inside. This is the bullet journal. Yeah, this is the bullet journal. I created the key. I put down some affirmations for 2026 here. I have a bigger life, I have a writing life, I have a learning life, I have a creative life. And then we have the index and a future log I did for January, February, March. I divided into events, facts and goals. And January, the dashboard. And then week 1, January, 1st to 3rd, the first week. Yeah, that's the bullet journal. The next one is the calendar and also for memory keeping. This one has the calendars. I drew all of this by hand. That was a process, but I'm glad that I did that. I set this up yesterday. I will use this for memory keeping. I'll write one line a day of every single thing that, maybe one line a day, one line a day of, something that I found really beautiful from that day. Maybe something, it could be trivial, but it could also be something of great importance that I really want to remember, but might not go into my main journal, because this will be with me on the go. This is going to be my everyday carry, sort of an EDC. So yeah, that's what this notebook is for. And lastly, this one is a blank notebook, which I am going to use for just mind mapping, brain dumps, thoughts that you don't want to leave you as quick as possible, ideas that you might have, go into here, like sort of like an idea bank. In 2025, this is the notebook that I used for bullet journal. And at the beginning of the notebook, I was sort of doing daily logs. I was doing daily logs in the notebook. Then at some point, I realized that the system did not work for me, because I found myself doing a lot of migration from one day to the next, from one day to the next. I will do something called a brain dump at the beginning of the week of everything I needed to do. Then, as the week continued, I will rewrite them just like that in the notebook. And that was not working, obviously. So I came across the Alistair method. And one of the ways you can use this method is as a rolling weekly. And that's what I did, where I will write the days here and then the tasks and events here. And that is the system that I'm still using till now. This notebook has been through hell and back. Very dirty because it was not in any cover. So and this is my EDC, like I like to call it, my life admin notebook. This next notebook is what I would like to call my learning notebook, but it does not only consist of my learning notebook, as you will find out very soon. The first one, a learning notebook, the actual learning notebook. This notebook has one purpose and one purpose only. to be my personal curriculum in this new year, because first quarter of the year I plan to learn some new things. Well, for the whole year I plan to learn. In the previous year I've been doing a lot of learning. And one thing that has really sparked my interest is creative nonfiction, because I have a blog, I write on Substack, and I want to really refine my craft when it comes to writing, and that is where I'm going to use this on. In another video, I'm going to create a personal curriculum on Notion, and I will do a tour of that video. Also, I'm going to be learning language, French, and I want to write the IELTS tests very soon. So I'm going to be learning all of that in this notebook. Next notebook here is my media journal. Media journal is, as it is, a way for me to consciously consume media in 2026. In 2025 so far, I have used this notebook as my media journal. Yeah, I was tracking a lot of things. At the beginning, I was logging my media daily. That was a very tedious thing. I will not be doing that in the next year. I was also kept like a TBR and a reading tracker, and then what else? I will try as much as possible to put color using markers into the page. My reflections follow this pattern. I will give you like, why did I pick up this book? Why? What's the book about? Just like a very short summary. And then what are my thoughts about the book? Why do I like the book? Why do I not like the book? What do I like about the book? What do I not like about the book? What do I like about the characters or the plot? That's how I give my book reviews. And I have this like reading tracker where I'll write the star ratings, I write the book title, the author, the stats when I started the book, when I finished the book, how many pages. And then I also have a music journal in this same notebook, a section for music where I did listen and reviews. I would listen to an album and give my first impression of the album as I'm listening to it. That was how I did my music journal. And I did listen and review for three albums so far. This book is obviously not like complete, and sometimes I'll do collages. Like this one I did for Crybaby by Caesar, or like a playlist that I have been obsessed, because I have a thing where I get so obsessed with music, and it takes me a long time to grow out of those songs. And when I go out of it, I don't like to return to it. So for now, these are my earworms. And then my 2025 recap from YouTube Music, I wrote it down here. Next, we have the movie and TV series media journal, where I've just written all the movies I watched, all the TV series that I watched, and their rating. And I followed like a format for reviewing movies and TV shows. I write the name, the genre, the watch time, the characters, my favorite, my least favorite character, my favorite scene, which is something I don't do anymore because I don't know why I don't do it anymore. But I will still write my favorite quotes, my rating for the show and why. Like for Love on Tango, which is a movie, I wrote 4.5. It's a perfect feel good story, and it's just a nice story. 2 hours just flew by, which is why I gave it the rating. Then I write my final thoughts on the story, on the movie. And back here, where what I called my miscellaneous section was for articles, manuals, blog posts, anything that was not traditional media, that is movie, music, books. I put it here. And yeah, that was my media journal for 2025. I would definitely be keeping most of that system in 2026, but I have created sort of a different format this time around. In this first half of the period of this first quarter of the book, I might just, if I'm watching a movie and I want to take notes as I'm watching the movie or something, I'll do that here. And then this section for books, I've created a rating system for my for this for this journal, because my format for tracking the books is still the same. And for TV shows also, my format for tracking is still the same. But I've also created like a rating system for it also. And we have music, I believe. Yep, music, a section dedicated to manual this time around. And I've also created a separate section for blogs and articles. So if I read a blog or an article that I really like, I'll come here and write on it or talk about it. Lastly, a commonplace notebook. Commonplacing is something I picked up very recently, and I've actually really enjoyed it a lot. I have created an index. I've only written one quote here to use as an example to show you how I am commonplacing in this notebook. It says, though love doesn't conquer all, it fortifies the human spirit. And yeah, I will number it like number 1, love there, love. Then I'll push the page number there, 3. So that's a way for me to, know where I am, where quotes on love is. So if I'm looking for a quote on love, I'll just go here and look. Oh, page 3, there's a quote on love there. Oh, page 6, there's a quote on love there. Like that. I got this idea of referencing, or like using like a reference in a video I saw from a lady called Sonny Kim. I'll put the video in the description box. That's where I got this from. This commonplace notebook differs from my previous commonplace notebook. In my previous one, I created a key of, general manuscript, which means that it was both, it was a repository of my own thoughts, but it was also a general church. That means it's the thoughts and quotes from my others, and note taking was also going on here. I also use it as a personal dictionary and for creative outlining for Substack or any other project I was doing. And that was what this notebook was for. I used different colors when I'm writing to kind of differentiate between this and this and this. There was no index, no way for me to say this is commonplace of this, but it worked while it worked. So I'm being more conscious this time around in my commonplace notebook. Also, this time around is not going to be my thoughts at all, just going to be the thoughts of others in this notebook. Moving on, let's see some other notebooks that I'll be using this year. For example, I'm going to be using these pockets for a lot of things. So the thing was that I buy this Jota, Global Jota notebook, blank. I buy it all the time. So I bought like a bunch of it and sort of turned them into little A6 size notebooks. I did that for this. I put it in a pocket. I want to use this for vocabulary. Since I'm going to be doing a lot of language learning in the next year, I want to have a separate notebook just for my vocab. That is what this pocket is for. I also have more inserts here for like quick notes, or I've started drawing in this notebook just some little doodles here and there. And that is what this notebook's purpose is. Very quick one. Before we continue with what I'm using in 2026, I want to show you some other notebooks I used in the previous year, as in 2025. Okay. Like I said, I use this global jotter a lot. I use it for a lot of note taking when I just need somewhere to just quickly pull down ideas. I'll do it here. This was actually the notebook I started with in 2025. It says here, hello 2025. Hello 2025. And I was journaling here for a while, just writing. Look at, I have a bingo board in this notebook. And at some point, I gave up on it. Okay, yeah. When I went to camp for my NYSC, I did not write as much as I wanted. Look, doodling and everything was happening in this notebook. I was not, writing as much. And when I came back, my dad gifted me that journal, which I used. That's the green journal. So this was sort of left beside, but I picked it up again. I started using it to like, collage and stuff. Whenever I was less busy and bored, I would just cut up um, the packaging from the products that I bought, and I will stick them on here. And that's what I use this for. And this one also was like a jotter. At some point, I was using it to write a story because I was bored and had nothing to do. And this is the one I'm currently using in December. This is my everything journal for December. I actually made this notebook by myself, and it's working well for now. Next, these two notebooks will serve as it's a B5, serve as sort of content planning, content drafting. I've started using it already actually. So the talking points for today's video, oh yeah. Also for my Substack, also using it for that purpose also. That's what this notebook will be for. And lastly, this one is it is going to be my job search notebook. I mean, if I get a job tomorrow morning, it will be my work journal. But since I don't have a job yet, this is going to work as my job search notebook. That is everything. That's all my notebooks. They are quite a lot. They're quite a lot, but I believe that they will help me a lot in the coming year for all of my creative and my writing and everything. So yeah,